Mark Rogers here in Abilene. Getting a lot of flack for my long toes.
I grew up with him in Plano.
I met Mark after seeing him as a sportscaster. And I remember my husband and I watching him going, wow, he's good. Then I met him when he was a physician manager at Hendrick. He came by and wanted me to go with him when new physicians were coming to town to tell them about the school district where I worked at the time. And so that's when we first became really acquainted.
This guy's so crazy. He has like more energy than me. And when I was like second grade, third grade, I had a lot of energy. And he had more energy than me. He was always happy, telling jokes, his jokes, Mark's jokes.
He bowled 3 strikes in a row.
Did you really?
Yes.
What's that called?
Turkey.
That's what you are.
He was a good guy.
We met at Cypress Street Station, and he had a doctor with him that he was trying to recruit.
I met Mark Rogers at a funeral. We were there singing, and something very unexpected happened. And Mark leaned across to me. He was like, "What is happening?" And I was like, "Okay, this guy and I, we could be friends."
Well, when I had been hired for the job as the police chief, I remember one of the first people to reach out to me was Mark Rogers, and he set up an appointment. And I remember Mark sitting across from me, and I was thinking to myself, man, this guy's with big brothers, big sisters. He's an awfully good-looking guy. I'm wondering what the ask is. I'm thinking at any moment he's gonna request something of me, like being a mentor. And that's not what he did. One of the first things he did is wanted to know what attracted me to Abilene. And he wanted to know about my background and my family. It was just pretty amazing.
He would never come to my office and have a meeting without laying on the couch. And he knew it drove me crazy because he'd just lay on the couch and hold his head up like this and talk, to me. And nobody else does that, but Mark.
About a week later, Mark had reached out again to my office and said, I just need to meet with the chief real quick. It won't take long. I wanted to introduce him to my little brother. And they came bearing gifts. And so I couldn't let him one-up me. So what I decided to do is to present both him and Jacob with a couple of our police department challenge coins. And we parted ways then, and my phone starts pinging, and I'm trying to figure out, why does this phone keep going off? And I looked at it, and there was a picture of both him and Jacob sitting in his pickup truck, acting like it's the Olympic medal, and they're biting down on it as they're taking their picture and looking at me. And I thought that was pretty hilarious.
When we would play ping pong, he would score like 10 points straight on me where we just smash it, and then the next game he wouldn't play as hard, and I'd beat him, and I started making fun of him. But he was a really good loser. He would, as he was losing, he would like bring you up instead of being like, you got lucky. He'd be like, you're so great at ping pong, man.
He was a great servant. He was a humble servant. He was full of joy. I don't know anybody that had more joy than he did. And a 30-minute meeting with Mark was always the best part of any day that you would have, because he loved greatly, and he loved everyone.
We really got to see the real Mark whenever we were performing for BBBS at church. He was a phenomenal performer. He was a ridiculously hard worker, and he didn't just perform at a huge high level for himself, but he brought up the level of performance for everybody.
He was authentic, and the way that he expressed himself was genuine to anyone he came into contact with.
Well, in any nonprofit, you need leadership, and you need commitment, and you need passion. Mark had all those.
I thought that it was beautiful that this man with 3 kids of his own, who comes from a middle-class background, had no reason to invest himself in a kid who comes from a completely different background, but yet he had committed himself to do it.
Mentorship is so important.
So the impact that this has isn't just about the impact that I have on my little brother. It's the impact that he is then going to have on his family and his children and his children's children. It's this idea of this generational change, I think, is really a powerful thing.
My memory of him is him being someone that was committed to the Big Brothers, Big Sisters program, not only in fundraising and carrying out the administrative duties, but living out the creed of being a wonderful mentor that would introduce his little brother to folks throughout our community from all walks of life, to include this chief of police who is from the outside, but someone that he thought was important for Jacob to get to know, and so he made sure that on our second meeting we got to meet.
I became a big in 2021. I actually came into the office to meet with Mark about my other job, and we just started talking about Big Brothers, Big Sisters, and he just encouraged me to join and to be a mentor to a kid. And when I was like, okay, I'm gonna do it, he gave me this hat, and that's why I'm wearing it. So I'll never forget that day.
I realize the value of Big Brothers and Big Sisters because those kids need somebody.
I think he taught us all that in the short time that you have on this earth, make the most of it, and don't be selfish with it. Share of yourself.
I think it's not only what you can do for them, but what they can do for you. You know, I think we can change a lot of people's hearts.
All kids need a mentor, and there's a lot of kids out there that need somebody that cares about them, that's going to spend that one-on-one time with them.
I will tell you that you can have all the worldly possessions, money, you can have all those things, but if you don't have that innate ability to leave a part of you behind with the people who you've come into contact with, you probably haven't lived. And that's what Mark has done for us, and I think that's what this program does for the generations of kids who are out there and who just need a positive influence, who need role models, people who can inspire them to be better than what they thought they could be.
I love that y'all have named it Make Your Mark, and it's so meaningful because Mark made his mark.
Would you describe Mark as your friend?
My best friend.